Miriam was born into a family that had seen too much pain. Her mother had 3 children from 3 different fathers, and each man had left nothing but heartbreak. From the start, Miriam's life was filled with absence, the absence of a father, the absence of stability. Her mother tried her best, working long hours, paying school fees, cooking meals, praying for her children's future. But a mother could not replace a father. And Miriam felt that emptiness deeply. When she was old enough, her mother sent her to a girls' boarding school. It was a place of rules, uniforms, and routines, a strict, structured world. But for Miriam, it became a place of discovery. One afternoon, a friend named Lena pulled her aside. "Miri, come with us tonight. There's a party in the dorm basement. Just for fun. You'll see." Miriam hesitated. Fun? What kind of fun? Lena laughed, a low teasing sound. "It's different. Like pretending to be a boy for the night. You'll like it. Come on." Curious, Miriam followed her. The basement was alive with colored lights, music, laughter, and whispers. Girls paired up, dancing, laughing, acting as boyfriends and girlfriends. Miriam watched from the edge, heart racing. She had never known a man's affection, never seen one treat a woman right. And in that moment, an idea took root. If men can be replaced, maybe I can be the one to replace them. As the night went on, she joined in the games. A girl brushed past her, whispering, "You're strong. I feel safe with you." Miriam felt a warmth she had never known. Then someone kissed her, soft, daring, and she felt dizzy, alive, and awakened to a new way of being. Can protect. Can lead. I can be the one people depend on, she thought. That night changed everything. Years passed. Miriam grew into a striking young woman. Her hair was cut short, her clothes sharp and crisp, her voice confident and low. At first, she hid this new self outside school. But soon the change became visible. People stared, whispered, and admired. She was mesmerizing. Curvy, light-skinned, radiant, yet bold in ways that made others wonder. Her mother noticed. One evening she asked quietly, "Miri, why are you changing like this? What is happening?" Miriam met her mother's eyes without hesitation. "I've never seen a man treat a woman right, Mother. I won't wait to see it happen. I'll show women they don't need men. I'll be the one. I'll be the king." From that moment she became King Miriam. She gathered women around her, creating a family of girls who looked to her for protection, guidance, and love. She had many girlfriends, all drawn to her energy, her strength, her ability to give what men had failed to provide. She became the center of a world she created, a world of loyalty, affection, and rules she alone could define. Money came to her in mysterious ways. Some whispered about dark magic, others about wealthy supporters intrigued by her power. Paid for clothes, trips, parties. Her life was fast, reckless, thrilling. Drinks, clubs, late nights, whispered secrets. All became normal. Women sometimes fought over her attention, jealous of her power, her charisma, the way she made them feel protected. Miriam didn't stop. For her it was just life. She began to live fully in her chosen identity. "I am not a woman. I was never meant to be." She saved secretly, planning a surgery that would make her feel complete. Becoming a man was not just desire. It felt right, natural, inevitable. Her mother suffered quietly. She had endured men's betrayals all her life, and now her child was living a life she could never understand. Parties, reckless spending, late nights. She watched Miriam thrive, unable to intervene. It was painful, but Miriam didn't notice. For her, it was the normal, the right life. One Friday evening, Miriam was at her favorite restaurant, waiting for a woman she had met online. She sipped her wine, sharp jacket hugging her shoulders, hair perfectly cut, eyes scanning the room with practiced confidence. Life was bright, reckless, alive. And then he walked in. Tall, dark-skinned, striking, moving with quiet confidence. He approached the hostess, glancing around. "Excuse me. Do you know where the men's restroom is?" he asked. Miriam froze. Her heart skipped. No matter how hard Miriam tried to bury the memory, the image of that man's face kept breaking through. His calm voice, the way he had stepped into the restaurant, the strange pull she felt when he spoke. It returned to her in quiet moments, like an echo she couldn't silence. At night it grew worse. She dreamed of him. Sometimes it was only his voice, sometimes his eyes, but it left her restless when she woke. It unsettled her because she had never felt drawn to men before. For years, her heart had only leaned toward women, and she wore that identity like armor. So why did this one man leave a shadow inside her? Her friends noticed her distraction. At the cafe, at late-night hangouts, even in their wildest outings, Miriam wasn't herself. Some teased her, joking that maybe she was changing. Others whispered their worries. Miriam laughed it off, but inside she was shaken. Her mother too felt the shift. Watching silently, she prayed harder than ever. She could see her daughter slipping further away, becoming harder, colder, and now even more conflicted. Miriam tried to drown it out. The dreams, the thoughts, the strange ache. Life moved on. She partied, she laughed, she kept up the mask. A week passed, and then fate came calling. One night, after another reckless outing with her girlfriends, Miriam found herself in the wrong place at the wrong time. They were walking down a quiet street when a group of men stepped out, blocking their way. Their smiles weren't kind. Their words were sharp, mocking, and dangerous. At first the girls tried to act bold, tossing back quick remarks, but fear tightened when one of the men grabbed a friend's arm. The others closed in. Miriam's heart raced. This wasn't a game anymore. Voice, strong, commanding. Let them go. From the shadows he stepped forward. The man. The same man Miriam had tried to forget. Only this time he wasn't just a fleeting image. He was real, standing between them and danger. With swift, powerful moves, he fought off the attackers, driving them back until they fled into the darkness. Silence fell. The girls clung to one another, shaken. Miriam's breath caught in her throat as she stared at him. You. Again. What are you doing here? She blurted, the words tumbling out before she could stop them. His expression hardened with confusion. Do I know you? The distance in his voice cut her deeper than she expected. To her he was unforgettable. To him she was no one. Later she would discover the truth. He was no ordinary stranger. He was the son of a well-known pastor, a man raised in faith and expectation. Worse, his father already had a fiancée in mind for him, a woman from the same perfect world of the church. For Miriam the storm began. She was drawn to him in ways she couldn't explain, ways that unsettled everything she thought she knew about herself. And yet, he wasn't interested in her at all. To him she was reckless, just another girl caught in the wrong crowd. But fate had already tied their paths together, and neither of them could see how deeply this meeting would change them both. The night of the attack never left Miriam. She replayed it over and over. His voice cutting through the chaos, his fists driving danger back, the way he stood tall like a wall of safety. But what haunted her most was his question. Do I know you? Echoed like a wound. To her, he had become unforgettable. To him she was invisible. Days passed. She tried to throw herself back into her world. Her friends, her tough clothes, her nightly escapes. Yet something inside her had cracked. She found herself staring into mirrors longer than before, asking questions she had never dared. Why him? Why now? Why did her heart betray her in this way? Her friends noticed again. One afternoon, while lounging together, one of the girls smirked. Miriam's gone soft, she teased. Maybe she's got a man in her dreams now. The others laughed, but one friend frowned, sensing it wasn't just a joke. Miriam brushed it off with her usual sharpness, but her silence afterward spoke louder than words. At home, her mother watched her daughter sink deeper into restlessness. Her prayers grew longer, heavier. She had no answers, only hope that God would reach Miriam's heart before the world destroyed her. And then the truth came out. Through whispers, Miriam learned his name, David. More than that, he wasn't just some stranger who appeared in the night. He was the son of a respected pastor in the city, a man of God whose reputation stretched far beyond the neighborhood. But the revelation cut deeper. David was already promised. His father had chosen a fiancée for him, a polished young woman from the church, the kind of daughter every pastor would dream of. A woman nothing like Miriam. Should have ended there. She told herself she had no place in his world, and he clearly wanted no part in hers. But the more she tried to close the door, the more fate seemed to wedge it open. One evening, in the most ordinary of places, a small shop near her street, she saw him again. Not as a hero, not as a stranger in the shadows, but up close in the light. Their eyes met. He stiffened, clearly remembering her now, but still distant. Miriam's pulse quickened. She forced herself to speak. "You again. Do you always show up where I am?" His lips pressed into a thin line. "I don't follow you. It's coincidence. Or fate," she whispered, surprising even herself. He frowned, turning as if to leave, but something held him there. For a brief moment, their worlds collided in silence. His guarded, hers restless. That night ended not with laughter, not with warmth, but with questions hanging heavy between them. For Miriam, the storm inside grew stronger. Attraction, identity, faith, rebellion. Everything she had built around herself was shaking. And for David, though he walked away with his pride intact, something about the sharp, defiant girl in men's clothes unsettled him more than he wanted to admit. The more Miriam tried to avoid David, the more their paths crossed. What started as brief encounters slowly turned into conversations. Conversations became walks, and walks became hours spent together that neither of them admitted to anyone. For the first time in her life, Miriam didn't feel like she had to act tough or prove anything. Around him, there was an uneasy safety, a space she didn't know she longed for. Still she fought it. She was Miriam, the one who wore the mask, who dressed like a man, who said love was only for women like her friends. Yet, her heart betrayed her more each day. David, too, was changing. At first, he convinced himself he was just concerned for her safety, just trying to be a good man. But soon he realized the truth he couldn't shake. He was falling for her, deeply, irrevocably, and the whispers began. "Have you seen David lately? They say he's been spending time with that girl. Miriam. Isn't she the one who dresses like a boy?" The gossip spread quickly, curling its way back to David's father, the pastor. One evening, Miriam overheard two women outside the church. "The pastor will never allow it," one of them sneered. "His son with a girl like her. Never." The words stabbed her, sharper than any blade. For the first time, she wondered if she was the problem. If she changed. If she softened her appearance. If she acted less like the person she had always been, maybe then David, and his family, could see her differently. Alone that night, Miriam stared into the mirror, tugging at her clothes, imagining herself as someone else. Tears slid down her cheeks as she whispered, maybe I can change." What she didn't know was that David was already lost to her, not because of who she could become, but because of who she was. He loved the fire in her eyes, the strength in her walk, the honesty in her brokenness. He loved Miriam, though he hadn't yet found the courage to say it aloud. And so, with two hearts standing on the edge of something impossible, Miriam wondering if she needed to become someone new to be loved, and David secretly praying for the strength to love her just as she was. The day had finally arrived. Miriam's heart pounded in her chest as she adjusted the hem of the dress she had chosen carefully. A soft, flowing gown that accentuated her feminine side, the side she had long hidden. Her hair, now elegantly braided with a subtle shimmer, framed her face perfectly, and her light brown skin glowed under the morning sun streaming through her room. She hardly recognized herself in the mirror. This was not the boy the world had known, the boy who had carried a mask for years. This was Miriam, her true self, daring, beautiful, and ready to embrace love. Her mind raced as she walked toward David's house, rehearsing every word she might say, wondering if he would even recognize her. The past weeks had been full of uncertainty, long conversations over the phone, subtle gestures of affection, and moments that left her both nervous and exhilarated. But today she had decided. She would show herself fully, and God would handle the rest. David's birthday celebration was in full swing when Miriam arrived. The music was light, the laughter warm, and the small gathering felt intimate. As she stepped into the room, she saw him, David. He was talking with friends, a soft laugh escaping him, eyes glowing with warmth. But the moment he turned and their eyes met, the world seemed to fall away. "Wow," David breathed, his eyes widening as he took in her appearance. "Miriam, is that really you?" Her heart skipped. She had practiced this moment in her mind 1,000 times, but reality was always more intense. She swallowed hard, her fingers gripping the strap of her purse, and whispered, "It's me, David. How do I look?" David's face softened, a smile breaking across his features. He took a careful step toward her, eyes never leaving hers. You're stunning," he said. I can't believe this is you. I mean, wow." His voice trembled slightly, revealing the depth of his emotions. Miriam felt a rush of relief and happiness, but her nerves didn't disappear. "Really?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Do you really like it? Or do you just say that?" David chuckled softly, shaking his head. "No, Miriam. Mean it. You've always been incredible to me. But seeing you like this, it's breathtaking. You're amazing." She let out a nervous laugh, a sound that seemed to release weeks of tension. I was scared, she admitted. Scared that maybe you wouldn't see me, the real me." David reached out, gently taking her hand. "Miriam, the real you is who I fell in love with. Not the mask, not the way you dressed, not anyone else. All of you. And seeing you now, it's like God answered a prayer I didn't even know I had." Her heart swelled with emotion. Tears threatened to spill, and she pressed her hand to her chest, whispering, "God, thank you. Thank you for giving me courage, for guiding me here." At that moment, a familiar figure entered the room. Miriam's mother. She had come quietly, not to intrude, but to witness her child's courage and God's answer to her prayers. She watched as Miriam and David stood together, hands entwined, eyes locked, hearts finally open. The mother's eyes glistened. She had prayed for years for her child's protection, for her happiness, for a life where love could thrive despite the challenges. And now she saw the fruits of those prayers. Miriam had not only survived but flourished, embraced her identity fully, and chosen love boldly. Miriam's mother stepped forward, smiling through tears. "David," she said softly, "thank you for loving my child, for seeing her, really seeing her." David bowed his head slightly, humbled. "Ma'am, it is an honor. Miriam, she's incredible. I want to protect her, love her, and honor her every day." The room was quiet for a moment, the weight of truth hanging in the air. Then David's father appeared, stepping closer. He looked at Miriam, really looked, seeing the courage, the honesty, and the grace she carried. For a moment, he was silent, conflicted by his past plans and the clear reality in front of him. Then with a deep breath he spoke. "God has answered a prayer I didn't know was mine to pray," he said, his voice steady but gentle. "Miriam, you are welcome here, not because of anyone's expectation but because of who you are. And David, if your heart truly chooses her, then you have mine." Tears rolled down Miriam's cheeks, and David pulled her into a gentle embrace. The weight of fear, doubt, and societal expectation fell away, leaving only the truth of their love. Later, as they celebrated together with family and friends, Miriam's mother whispered to herself, her heart full, "Every prayer, every tear, every sleepless night, it was worth it. My child has found love and acceptance. God is faithful." And in that moment, a truth became clear. Children need the love, presence, and guidance of their parents. No amount of wealth, no pursuit of status, no distraction of the world can replace the quiet influence of a parent who truly cares. The paths they guide, the prayers they lift, the love they give, all shape the future of a life that may one day blossom beyond expectation. Miriam and David stood together, hands clasped.